most people, including me, do not like Boris Johnson. 99% I don't like him. However, there is a 1%, only one, not even 10%, only 1% of the 100% that I do like Boris Johnson, because he did defund, and he did make sure that children's social services receive less money for their professional titles. And so I'm denied justice. I am forced to live in darkness. I am denied every type of medical treatment on waiting list cancelled, unless I go privately. So I'll have to look at my private options for surgery for my spine, because I have not had an operation on my spine. I don't drive a car, so this is one of the reasons why my spine is so weak. And this is not being vetted anywhere when it comes to the scope of professionalism, whatever that is. To identify an abuser, so it's the victim versus the villain. So at the moment, worldwide leaders, worldwide government, nationally and internationally, believe that they can actually have credit for being a tyrant, for being a cretin. A cretin is 10 times worse than a tyrant. A common individual, a common civilian who is the majority, as a cretin, that means acting as an idiot, acting stupid, acting dumb, when in fact they're not. They're extremely crafty. They're more advanced in their ability to do evil and to be rooted in evil, compared to a tyrant that would commit genocide, that would go and wipe up all the buildings by a nuclear bomb, for example, or a biological weapon, for example, and keep that land for itself. Why do I say that? A cretin is more wicked compared to a tyrant? Is because they're a subtle bully. No one notices them and no one punishes them for their wrong behaviour, compared to a tyrant, which is a blatant bully. So everybody knows it's coming. Here comes trouble. We know it. We can see a tyrant is someone under the title of Hitler, for example, or under the title of other tyrants in China or other tyrants in Russia. I don't know the names of all of them. We know it's coming. Hitler's about to enter the room. We know it's a tyrant. But when a 3-headed monster enters the room with 3 invisible heads, or 3 eyes and with an eye in the middle, we don't know it's coming. So they would behave very respectfully, decline things, and have high standards of mannerisms. And yet, when no one's looking, or when no one notices, they get away with being antisocial. Even the antisocial managers who are there assigned to punish them, they don't, unless it is the severity of the crime. If it's extremely criminal, where it's life in danger, then they do something as managers. So I had encounters dealing with the authority, my local authorities and the council's managers, that talked to me at the table about certain groups that are following me. They laughed at me and said, "They're not following you, it's a coincidence." And I'm saying, no, it isn't. It's the same pattern of behaviour. It's the same oil graffiti. It's the same littering that they've put in my garden. The same type of people. And by the time they finally acknowledge these criminals, they have CCTV cameras, and How do you, and then I discover that they are children of the police officer, so they're not touched. How can you report someone that is oppressing me and my family to the police when they are the police? So the police are not being vetted for their narcissistic behavior as abusers and as false heroes. The nurses and doctors and other professionals, including children's social services, are not being vetted, and our governors, for being narcissistic and being abusers. And for this reason, they have the nerve to accuse a victim and say that the abused will become abusers. And I'm a living evidence. I'm the living witness here to say, who am I abusing? Who have I ever abused? Except for a poo fly that I would squash, or a mosquito. So I could name them, I could list them, I know who they are, which is 10 times worse than Hitler, because they're subtle bullies. So these are the types of abusers, ones that are blatant and ones that are subtle, for example. And I'm unfolding and infolding this information, which is important, to open a review and to better understand how hate crime is being created and stirred. As someone putting a stick in my toilet and then stirring that toilet. That's how disgusting it is. But God tells me not to be disgusted. God tells me not to be jealous of sinners who practice witchcraft and wizardry. As in the example I've just shown in the photographs, using my tool, my therapy for something evil, which I haven't designed, they designed it. So looking at how they condemned me using the Holy Bible and saying, take your condemnations back. To say, you're making me a horror when it's actually a picture of you. I've been it's like putting the abuser's face on my face. Is that called you've been catfished or something like that? So the victim is automatically anybody that is in an unemployed or crippled category. And public are not prepared, and they cannot never be prepared, except for those that have the power from God, as God is our advocate and counsellor, compared to those that are getting funded by the local authority. They're not counsellors, they're abusers. They abuse my trust. They steal my personal information. They make accusation and they make assumptions, and they're worst hypocrites. So how on earth are they getting paid for my suffering? That's what I want to know. How on earth are they getting that bad freedom and that peace when they should be behind prison bars? So we do need a great reversal, a new majority, a new priority, and find a way to tear them into pieces. Such as child abusers, as in the instance of my ex-husband. So the fact that he died, or the fact that he did commit suicide because he's guilty, that's what I guess. I trust the Bible. And when I read my Bible in the book of Psalms, to me that was a profile of a child abuser. In the book of Psalms somewhere, I recorded it somewhere, I don't know where I put it. I mean, my Bible is marked very well. I even got stamps on them, like the Queen of England's head on it. Stamp. So those that are anti-Zion, who are true Christians, I don't know, remember, I think there was a channel on I think it was Adam Green's channel, who identified about them. Tyrants. To fight me as a real prophetess and real people in Zion. That means the daughter of Zion. Through Christ. So they're fighting me in one man. That's the power of the fallen angel versus the holy angels. In one man, Jesus. Or in one man, Antichrist. Or in one man, false Christ. So an Antichrist is obviously a murderer and a rapist and a robber. And a false Christ is obviously someone that loves lies more than the truth, or a false witness. Matthew chapter 20, which is relevant to today, 1 to 16. One speaking for a friend when a situation is unfair, as in the instance of our wages. Didn't we work for the same wage? God, symbolic to God and Jesus, gave one type of wage to an individual and a different type of wage to a different individual. Can't I do with my money what I want to do with my own money? Are you going to get stingy against me because I'm generous towards my daughter? I've always been generous towards my daughter because I loved her. And then they decided to accuse me on money matters and they forced my daughter or manipulated my daughter to fill in forms so that they can steal that money inheritance for her 18th birthday, which I want